NRC. Now, today we are going to discuss about this draft EIA, that is Environment Impact Assessment 2020. You are aware this NDA 2 government under Narendra Modi, it has started with revising certain previous laws or previous acts, rules, regulations. Few days back, we had discussed about the national education policy. Since last more than 2 decades, 3 decades, it was not amended. So for the first time, in last 3 decades, the government of India has tried to give the new education policy, and we are hopeful that in the upcoming years, this new education policy will come into action. Similarly, the government of India, to be specific, the Ministry of Environment and Forest has issued one draft related to Environment Impact Assessment. Okay, so Environment Impact Assessment 2020, that draft was released. So exactly what is this Environment Impact Assessment? What is its historical background? What is its correlation with the sustainable development? What the recent amendments are going to happen in this Environment Impact Assessment or Act, and what are the positives, what are the negatives of this particular act, and the related controversy. All these aspects we are going to discuss. Now, to understand this particular concept, the term is EIA, that is Environment Impact Assessment. In the name itself, you will get the basic understanding of the term Environment Impact Assessment. Because of a particular project, because of a particular industry, because of a particular construction, if environment is going to be affected, then we have to assess that how much environment impact is going to be there, and based on that you have to balance whether the development which is being carried out, whether the project which is being developed, its value, its benefits vis-a-vis the impact which it is going to cause on environment. Both these things has to be balanced, and based on that you have to take a decision. And when you are doing this, you are doing this right at stage 1. You are doing this in the planning stage itself. The project has not been started and you are assessing how that project is going to affect the environment, surrounding environment. That process is known as Environment Impact Assessment. So in simple terms, what is Environment Impact Assessment? It is nothing but it is assessing what? It is assessing economic, social and environmental impact of a particular project. That project may be a kind of industry, that project might be some infrastructure project like road development, railway track development, like port development, airport development. It can be anything. So any economic project, and that economic project's economic, social and environmental impact assessment, and that too in the planning stage itself prior to decision making. This process is known as Environment Impact Assessment. कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट शुरू करने से पहले ही उसका आर्थिक, सामाजिक और पर्यावरणीय क्या परिणाम होगा, इसको जांचना, परखना, इस प्रक्रिया को हम कहते हैं एनवायरमेंट इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट. ओके, नाउ if you see the historical perspective of this particular concept, जिससे related अलग अलग MCQs might be asked in the examination. For the first time such kind of concept कि कोई भी अगर प्रोजेक्ट करना है तो उसका इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट हमने करना चाहिए, एनवायरमेंट इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट हमने करना चाहिए. फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम सच काइंड ऑफ कंसेप्ट was evolved or was originated in United States of America in 1960s. So originally this concept was originated in United States of America, and then later on European countries, certain Western countries, and now such kind of process is also being conducted by World Bank. As you are aware, World Bank finances the different countries for various kind of developmental projects. So before giving such kind of finances, before giving such kind of money, World Bank ensures that there is environment impact assessment which is being done. Okay, so to start with, this concept was started in United States of America. Later on, the World Bank, EU and other organizations, international organizations, they are also taking the help of this particular concept, and in India also we are following the environmental impact assessment concept. Now if you speak about India, we are aware there were certain laws related with environment. Like for example, we are aware in 1974 there was the law related with environment in terms of there was Water Pollution Act, Prevention of Water Pollution Act. In 1981 there was an act by the parliament which is related with kind of air pollution, so Prevention of Air Pollution Act. So different kind of acts were there, but these acts, they were only on the paper. Its effective implementation was not there. And one of the important incidents has happened in 1984, and we are aware about that particular incident, that is known as Bhopal gas tragedy. We are aware that in 1984 there was Bhopal gas tragedy, and here comes my question which you can answer through your chat box. And the question is very simple. As far as 1984 Bhopal gas tragedy is concerned, first, which company was associated with this Bhopal gas tragedy? Bhopal gas tragedy kahan pe hui? Number 1. And second question, which was the gas, which was the culprit, which was the gas which was responsible for causing thousands of deaths related with Bhopal gas tragedy? So to question, which was the company and what is the name of that particular gas? Okay, yes, so Labhesh has answered, sir, that company is UC. Prithvi has answered that it is methyl isocyanate. Yes, anybody else? The name of the company and name of the gas. Okay, so Bhopal gas tragedy is considered as a kind of environmental tragedy. Okay, as far as India is concerned, so it is considered as a kind of, it is the environmental crisis, environmental emergency which has occurred in India. And two important things which we should be aware about from MCQ point of view: the name of that particular company, and that company was Union Carbide. The name of that company was Union Carbide. Okay, so Union Carbide was the company which was related with this particular incidents. So Union Carbide is the name of the company, and the gas which was responsible for causing thousands of death was MIC, that is methyl isocyanide. Methyl isocyanide. So you must be aware about the name methyl isocyanide, and you should also be aware about the name of the company, Union Carbide company. So Bhopal gas tragedy. So in 1984 this Bhopal gas tragedy has happened, and then we felt that there is a need of making such kind of companies, making such kind of projects for economic development, but simultaneously we must take care of our environment, and for that purpose there must be some mechanism, there must be certain laws. And based on that, one of the very important act was passed by Indian Parliament in 1986, and we call it as Environment Protection Act 1986. So Environment Protection Act 1986. What is the background? 1984 Bhopal gas tragedy. Okay, so Environment Protection Act 1986 was there, and based on Environment Protection Act 1986, for the first time in 1994 there was a notification, there were rules, regulations which were related with certain environment impact assessment of project. If you want to take care of environment, if you want to protect the environment, then you must assess what kind of impact would be there from environmental point of view of a particular project. As I have mentioned, that project might be a infrastructural project, it might be a company, it might be anything. Okay, so for the first time the notification was issued in 1994. Again, this notification related with environment impact assessment was amended in year 2006, and till this particular date the same 2006 notification related to environment impact assessment. So based on the rules regulations as per Environment Impact Act 2006 till today, we are following the methods. I mean, the functionality is based on the 2006 Environment Impact Assessment Act. Now government has taken a decision that we must make certain changes into this Environment Impact Assessment Act, which is of 2006, and that's why they have issued a draft which is known as Environment Impact Assessment Act 2020 draft. Okay, so here I have tried to explain you the important timeline related to EIA. Initially, we have tried to understand what is the meaning of environment impact assessment. Then we have tried to understand the overall timeline related with Environment Impact Assessment Act 2020 draft. Okay. Now we have understood this particular thing. Now, as per this particular draft, the way draft means it is not a kind of permanent thing, in the sense government has made this particular draft and now it is open for the public to give their comments. It has been published on their website and we should read it, and if we feel that there is any need of any change, so you can give your contribution. So public participation is allowed in making such kind of rules regulations. So that's why it's a draft. So government will get such kind of recommendations, and if government feels that whatever recommendations are there, they are worth taking cognizance, they are worth taking, they are worth taking consideration, they should be considered. So government can include those recommendations in their final Environment Impact Assessment Act 2020. Okay, so that draft has been published and we can give our comments also. Now, as per this particular draft, there are certain things, and these things are considered as the loopholes. These things are considered as the kind of, I would say, negative aspects of this particular EIA Act. And what are the features? What are the negative things? First and foremost thing, this draft says now for any particular project, previously EIA was mandatory, EIA was compulsory, correct? That means if you want to construct a company, if you want to make a national highway, if you want to make a railway project, if you want to build up a particular port, you have to do environment impact assessment procedure. Okay, now also it is mandatory, but this particular draft says that you can take the ex post facto clearance also. That means there is no need to get the environmental clearance first. पहले ही जो है आपको EIA करना कंपलसरी नहीं, आप आपका काम शुरू कर दो, ठीक है, आप जो है आपका कंस्ट्रक्शन वाला काम शुरू कर दो, एंड लेटर ऑन ऑल्सो यू कैन डू द एनवायरमेंट इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट, एंड उसका रिपोर्ट जो है आप मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरमेंट एंड फॉरेस्ट को वहां पे सबमिट कर सकते हो. इसका मतलब जस्ट फॉर्मेलिटी रह गई है. Nobody is going to give it that much importance. Previously it was said, the basic concept of EIA is in the planning stage itself. In the planning stage itself, you should do EIA and you should submit your report. But this draft says कि okay, it is just a formality. You carry on with your work. What is more important is development of your project, and in between, whenever you feel, you can submit this EIA report, and based on that, you can get the environmental clearance. So this is first thing. एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो क्लियरेंस, यानी आपका प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट होने के बाद में भी आप EIA कर सकते हो, विच इज ऑब्जेक्शनेबल. बहुत सारे एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट ने उसके ऊपर जो है ऑब्जेक्शन वहां पे लिया है. सेकंड थिंग, इस प्रोसेस के अंतर्गत EIA में क्या होना चाहिए? देयर इज अ टर्म विच इज नोन एज पब्लिक कंसल्टेशन. यानी मान लो अगर आप कोई डैम वहां पे कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहे हो, ओके, सरकार वहां पे डैम कंस्ट्रक्ट कर रही है, तो प्रोसीजर क्या होता है? एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट आपको करना है. तो उस डैम से संबंधित जो गांव, जो फार्मर्स उससे अफेक्ट होने वाले हैं, उनको जो है समय दिया जाएगा कि दे कैन गिव देयर रिकमेंडेशंस, दे कैन गिव देयर ऑब्जेक्शंस. उन्होंने वहां पे कहना चाहिए कि हमारा जो है पानी का स्तर कम हो जाएगा, हमारी जो है खेती पानी में चली जाएगी, ये होगा वो होगा, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह. सो वट एवर ऑब्जेक्शंस आर देयर, दीज ऑब्जेक्शंस कैन बी पुट फोर्थ by the affected parties, and that is known as public consultation. Previously at least 30 days period was given for public consultation. यानी 30 दिन का समय है आपको आपके objections रखने के लिए, आपको आपके वहां पे जो है आपका मत प्रदर्शन वहां पे करने के लिए उस प्रोजेक्ट से रिलेटेड एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट में. नाउ गवर्नमेंट हैज रिड्यूस्ड दैट पीरियड टू ओनली 20 days। यानी अभी नोटिफिकेशन निकाल दिया, एनवायरमेंट इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट करना है और गवर्नमेंट बोलेगा कि सिर्फ 20 दिन का समय है। 20 दिन में किसी को जो है आपने जो स्टडी करना है, जो असेसमेंट करना है वो करो, और 20 दिन में फार्मर्स, लोग जो कोई अफेक्ट होने वाले हैं, अगर आपको कुछ कहना है तो 20 दिन में कहो। यानी रादर देन 30 days पीरियड, you are supposed to give your recommendations or you are supposed to give your objection within 20 days only, कम से कम दिनों में। अगर बाद में आप देते हो तो वो बोलेंगे इट इज टू बैड बिकॉज वी हैव गिवन ओनली 20 days लिमिट। आप तो 2 महीने के बाद बोल रहे हो कि हमारा ये नुकसान हो रहा है, वो नुकसान हो रहा है, दैट इज नॉट एक्सेप्टेड। सो public consultation, that limit has also been reduced from 30 days to 20 days. That is also a problematic zone. Third objection which is there related with environment impact assessment, there are so many exemptions which are there as per this EIA. Exemptions mean what? अब बेसिकली कंसेप्ट तो हमें समझ में आ गया कि हाँ कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट है तो उसका एनवायरनमेंट के ऊपर क्या परिणाम होने वाला है उसको हमने असेस करना चाहिए और उसके अनुसार ही हमने निर्णय वहां पे लेना चाहिए। अब भारत सरकार का कहना है एज पर दिस एनवायरनमेंट इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट एक्ट कि इफ अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट इज रिलेटेड विथ नेशनल सिक्योरिटी, हमारी राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षितता से संबंधित अगर वो प्रोजेक्ट है, हमारे राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षितता से संबंधित, अगर हम रास्ता बना रहे हैं, रेलवे ट्रैक बना रहे हैं, कोई डिफेंस एस्टेब्लिशमेंट बना रहे हैं, तो उसके लिए राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षितता को ध्यान में लेते हुए कोई भी एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस की जरूरत नहीं, कोई भी एनवायरमेंट इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं। वो कितना भी बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट हो, उसमें से जो है एनवायरमेंट का कितना भी नुकसान होने दो, अगर भारत सरकार को लगता है तो भारत सरकार कहेगी कि EIA हम नहीं करेंगे, इस कानून के अंतर्गत जो है हम EIA नहीं करेंगे। क्यों? क्योंकि ये प्रोजेक्ट जो है वो नेशनल सिक्योरिटी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इंपॉर्टेंट है। करेक्ट? सो व्हाट आर द एग्जेम्पशंस, यानी EIA करना कंपलसरी कहां पे नहीं, अगर भारत सरकार कहता है कि राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षितता के मद्देनजर ये चीज महत्वपूर्ण है। नॉट ओनली दैट, ये भी हम समझ सकते हैं कि ओके डिफेंस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, सिक्योरिटी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स शुड नॉट बी हॉल्टेड और शुड नॉट बी डिलेड जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस। एग्रीड, एक्सेप्टेड। Not only that, now government has added additional term into that, and that is known as projects of strategic significance. स्ट्रैटेजिक सिग्निफिकेंस के जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उसके लिए भी एनवायरमेंटल इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट मैंडेटरी नहीं रखा गया है। अब स्ट्रैटेजिक सिग्निफिकेंस इज अ वेरी सब्जेक्टिव टर्म। टुमारो इफ गवर्नमेंट सेज कि दिस पर्टिकुलर रोड जो औरंगाबाद से नागपुर जा रहा है इट इज ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजिक सिग्निफिकेंस, सो ऑटोमेटिकली एनवायरमेंटल इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट से वो बाहर जाएगा। इसका मतलब आप कितने भी पेड़ काटो, इसका मतलब आप किसी भी नदी का जो है बहाव चेंज करो, इसका मतलब आप वहां पे एनवायरमेंट से रिलेटेड कुछ भी छेड़छाड़ करो, आपके ऊपर जो है कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होगी। व्हाई? बिकॉज इन द लॉ इटसेल्फ, इन द एनवायरमेंटल इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट रूल्स रेगुलेशंस इटसेल्फ आपने कहा है कि एनी प्रोजेक्ट विच इज ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजिक सिग्निफिकेंस, और ये कौन डिसाइड करेगा? सरकार डिसाइड करेगा। सो दैट प्रोजेक्ट विल नॉट बी ऑफ, आई मीन दैट वुड बी एग्जेम्प्टेड। इसको जो है हम इस EIA के दायरे में नहीं लाएंगे। सो नेशनल सिक्योरिटी से रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट, उसके साथ ही द प्रोजेक्ट्स एसोसिएटेड विद द the projects of strategic significance, ये जो है exempted रहेंगे। Not only that, another important aspect, previously यानी 2006 के जो रूल्स थे उसके अनुसार it was said that the projects up to 20,000 square meter area, how much? 20,000 square meter, I am using the word square meter, so approximately 1 square meter is equal to roughly 10 to 11 square feet. Okay, so just for understanding we will take it as a 10 square feet. So 20,000 square meter, that means approximately it becomes 2 lakh square feet. So if a particular project, if a particular company, if a particular dam, if a particular any project, if its overall area is less than a 20,000 square meter, then considering its small size, there is no need to go for environmental impact assessment. Only bigger projects they should go the environmental impact assessment. इस तरह का रूल था। अब भारत सरकार ने क्या किया, उसमें और चेंज किया और उसने कहा कि नाउ forget about 20,000 square meter, up to 1,50,000 square meter projects 1,50,000 यानी 15,000 स्क्वायर फीट से भी ज्यादा, इतना बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट तक कोई एनवायरमेंटल इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। आपको एक एग्जांपल से ये समझ में आ जाएगा। इन औरंगाबाद वी हैव गॉट द एयरपोर्ट, okay, now this airport from our point of view it's a big airport, but that airport total area is less than 1,50,000 square meter. Pune wala airport area is less than 1,50,000 square meter. So if you want to construct Aurangabad airport, if you want to construct Nanded airport, if you want to construct Kolhapur airport, there is no need to do environmental impact assessment. Why? Because the rule says 1,50,000 square meter से आगे एरिया, यानी इसके लिए कितने भी झाड़ का आप कटाई करो, इसके लिए एनवायरमेंट का कितना भी नुकसान करो, there is no need to do environmental impact assessment. So this limit, increase in limit, that is also objectionable. So इस ड्राफ्ट EIA में एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट जो है वो क्या क्या ऑब्जेक्ट करते हैं? वो करते हैं कि आपने पब्लिक कंसल्टेशन का समय कम किया, 30 दिन से 20 दिन तक किया। वो कहते हैं कि ये तो सारा प्लानिंग स्टेज में होना चाहिए था, आप बोल रहे हो कि प्रोजेक्ट शुरू करो और बाद में भी एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो क्लियरेंस अगर आप लेते हो EIA का तो भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं। ये कहते हैं कि नेशनल सिक्योरिटी से रिलेटेड, स्ट्रैटेजिक सिग्निफिकेंस से रिलेटेड किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट को EIA कंपलसरी नहीं, यानी फॉर प्रैक्टिकल पर्पजेस गवर्नमेंट किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट को EIA के दायरे से बाहर रख सकती है, एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस लेने की कोई जरूरत नहीं। भारत सरकार को जैसा लगता है वैसे वो पर्यावरण का हानि करते हुए भी वो जो है कर सकता है, इस कानून के दायरे में वो अटकेगा नहीं। एंड अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, ये ड्राफ्ट लाने के लिए और उससे संबंधित कमेंट्स मांगने के लिए सरकार ने बहुत कम समय दिया था। हाईकोर्ट में वो मामला गया, तब जाके दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट ने कहा कि 11 अगस्त तक वो टाइम लिमिट वहां पे बढ़ाई जाए। सो कमेंट्स देने के लिए भी जो है समय सीमा कम रखी थी। सो दीज आर दी ऑब्जेक्शंस जिसके आधार पर दिस ड्राफ्ट EIA 2020 was challenged, in the sense there were certain objections related with this particular thing. Now after considering all these things we must consider the other aspect. हमने ये तो देख लिया कि what are the objections from environment point of view. Okay, the second thing you must consider why government is doing so, why government is relaxing such kind of things in environmental impact assessment. The most important thing is related with economic development. On one hand we say that we want to develop, on one hand we say we want to do the economic growth, because unless and otherwise we do the economic growth, unless and otherwise there is more and more manufacturing, unless and otherwise there is more and more production, unless and otherwise there are big roads, national highways, railway tracks, so many ports, so many airports, India can't be developed. India can't become economic superpower. Unless and otherwise we become economic superpower, we can't challenge China. So there are so many things. So for doing economic, for attaining this economic supremacy, we must improve the manufacturing. For improving manufacturing आपको कंपनीज बढ़ाने पड़ेंगे, आपको रास्ते बनाने पड़ेंगे, और ये सारा करना है तो आपको अलग अलग प्रोजेक्ट्स के माध्यम से इसका डेवलपमेंट करना है। अगर ये प्रोजेक्ट्स करने हैं तो आपको जो है बहुत जल्द गति से you have to do it very fastly. And if you are putting this stumbling block as environmental clearance, हर एक जगह पे आप बोलोगे कि नहीं नहीं आप ये नहीं कर सकते हो, आपको ये करना पड़ेगा, वो करना पड़ेगा, एनवायरमेंट की इतनी हानि होगी, तो कहीं ना कहीं जो है आपकी ये सारी प्रोसेस डिले हो जाएगी एंड योर इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट माइट बी डिलेड. So as to give boost to economic development, some relaxation is being done by government through this EIA. So हमें वहां पे जो है इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट को भी नहीं छोड़ना है, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट के नाम पे हम एनवायरमेंट का जो है कुछ भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज वहां पे एक्सेप्ट करेंगे. सो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी हैव टू डू द बैलेंस in between environmental concerns as well as economic development. और ये ध्यान में रखते हुए EIA में उस तरह की चीजें वहां पे आनी चाहिए. करेक्ट. इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट करते करते ही एनवायरमेंट क्लियरेंस किस गति से हम दे सकते हैं, कैसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीजों को ही उसमें हम शामिल कर सकते हैं, इसको बैलेंस करना ये सरकार के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. एंड हियर कम्स आवर कंसेप्ट विच इज नोन एज सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, which is known as sustainable development. Okay, so sustainable development हमें जैसे पता है कि as per sustainable development what we do, as per sustainable development, what is sustainable development? Development of today without compromising the future. In simple terms, develop in such a way by which there would be minimum damage to the environment. तो एनवायरमेंट का भी ध्यान रखना है और आगे भी बढ़ना है, ये बैलेंस हमें इस EIA के माध्यम से पता होना चाहिए. सो दिस इज इन शॉर्ट अबाउट ड्राफ्ट EIA 2020. If we don't give importance to EIA, what will happen? Because of laxity in giving environmental clearance or because of laxity related with EIA, Vizag, Vishakhapattanam, just few days back in Vizag, there was a tragedy, gas leak. Another tragedy has happened in Assam Petroleum Company. Why it has happened? Vizag gas leak and few deaths, Assam Petroleum product related tragedy. So all these things are affected with right in the planning stage. If Vizag, Vishakhapattanam company or Assam Petroleum company, they have not done environmental impact assessment, they have not taken the environmental clearance, that's why that tragedy has happened. But if right at the planning stage, if they would have taken the environmental clearance, that means they must have included certain features by which there would be minimum such kind of damage or hazards to the environment as well as to the lives of people. Okay, so from EIA point of view, you should be aware about sustainable development, and Brundtland Commission for the first time it has introduced this particular concept. So you should be aware about sustainable development concept. You should be aware about the historical background, as I have mentioned, right from USA's concept to various kind of Air Pollution Act as well as Water Pollution Act, 1984 gas tragedy, Bhopal gas tragedy, 1986 Environmental Protection Act, 1994 notification, 2006 EPI Act, and now 2020 draft. What amendments has happened, that we have discussed. What are the positives? Positives are it will support the faster development of a nation. So faster economic growth would be possible if we don't keep the environmental clearance as a stumbling block, but simultaneously we have to take care about the environmental issues also. So a balance is required, and from that perspective you should consider this particular topic. Okay, तो आपको concept पता होना चाहिए, और जैसे मैंने बीच में बात करते वक्त कुछ आपको facts भी बताए, वो facts भी आपने ध्यान में रखना चाहिए. और जैसे जैसे अब इससे संबंधित भारत सरकार निर्णय लेगी और इस ड्राफ्ट में अगर और कुछ चीजें ऐड करेगी और अल्टीमेटली इसको कानून बनाएगी, तो उसको आपको ध्यान में रखना है. विच इज द नोडल मिनिस्ट्री? मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरमेंट एंड फॉरेस्ट. ओके, सो दिस थिंग you should be aware about. So here we complete this particular part related with EIA. Now another important issue which is in current affairs now, and that particular issue is related with SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Please remember the word is cooperation, सहकार्य. It is not corporation. I am surprised many of the so-called experts, they say Shanghai Cooperation Organization. No, it is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai Sahakarya Sanghatan. So the countries which are the members of this SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, to improve cooperation among these countries, that is the main purpose behind SCO. So now in month of September itself, India's defense minister and India's external affairs minister S. Jaishankar and defense minister